4 things I have learned in the last 4 years of living in the third world. Welcome back to another video in this 100-day video challenge here on the Freedom Files. My name is James Nuveen. 4 years ago, I left the United States, which is where I'm from,
Bye, have a great time.
after starting my own online business, and since then have started a couple different online businesses. I've lived in 10 different countries here in Latin America, coming to you from Medellin, Colombia today. In Latin America and Southern Europe, I have fallen in love with a Colombian girl. I have learned Spanish fluently. I have invested in real estate here in Colombia, done a lot of different things over the last few years, and of course, learned a lot throughout those achievements and the process of leaving the United States and of course, building a life outside my home country.
Yeah!
In this video, I'm going to talk about maybe 4 things that I have learned that have really stuck with me that I think you should learn before you leave your home country, whether you're from the United States or not. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. By the way, I think you're going to want to stick around for the last one because I think it's the most controversial. But you be the judge of that. You can comment down below if you want to hear more about each one of these or one specific one, or if you have more questions that you want me to film videos about. All right, let's get into it. So number 4, the 4th most important lesson I have learned from 4 years in the third world is that the biggest risk in life is not taking any. If I had continued on the trajectory that I was on when I was working a 9-to-5 job, living the corporate life, if I had continued that trajectory 5 years into the future, 10 years into the future, if I would have been in the same company with a little bit more advanced title, with a little bit more pay, I don't think I would have been thrilled with my life. And I know that there are a lot of 22 to 30-year-olds in that same bucket where it's hard to turn down that promotion. It's hard to turn down that extra pay that you get every year or every 2 years or every 3 years and climb that corporate ladder. But is that really what you want to do? If that's what you want to do, great. But life is about taking risks.
Get back to work.
If only I found a way to escape this misery. I can't stand this anymore.
And I say that because right before I quit my job, I wrote my own obituary, which is a very enlightening exercise. And during that exercise, I learned that there were so many things that I wanted to accomplish in life that I had not done yet, nor was I going to do if I were going to continue on that trajectory. I wasn't going to explore the world. I wasn't going to own homes around the world. I wasn't going to learn a foreign language. I wasn't going to build a life with a more traditional and conservative woman who appreciates that worldview. That was going to be really hard to do if I continued down that trajectory that I was on. So I had to make really big changes in my life. And I did. And I know that a lot of people recognize the fact that they need to take risks, but they just don't because they have those handcuffs. They have that high pay. They have that family at home or children at home that prevent them from taking those risks. And I'm telling you, 100%, it's almost always worth it, because it's better than the alternative, sitting on your deathbed when you're 80 or 90 or even sooner and regretting a lot of things about your life. And the last thing on this risk-taking lesson that I've learned is that there is a big difference between being content and truly happy, truly live a fulfilling life. When I was working a 9-to-5 and doing just fine, had my benefits, had a good boss, had great social circle, I was content. Those things weren't going to make me endlessly happy, endlessly wealthy, endlessly healthy, and free. And that was my ultimate goal. So I had to make changes in order to realize that true happiness. I don't think I'm truly 100% happy and healthy and wealthy and free, but I'm a hell of a lot closer than I was before. All right, the third most important lesson of my experience living outside of the United States for now 4 years is that patience is certainly a virtue. And what I mean by that is that no matter where you go in the world, there are positives and negatives of those cultures, of those norms, of those societies that you're going to live in. You have to accept them while you're there. You cannot attempt to change a culture from the outside. So if there are things that frustrate you about your new home or a place you're staying in for a short amount of time, that's okay. Trying to fight it and getting frustrated with the fact that you're fighting it and not succeeding, which is always going to be the fact, is not worth your trouble. When you first enter a new culture and a new place, there's a honeymoon phase that is real. where you have these rose-colored glasses on and you think everything about that place is magical and beautiful and perfect. However, after a certain amount of time, and I would peg that at about a year or 2 years, you start to realize the things about that culture that don't quite measure up to where you're from. And this is exactly why I always recommend testing and experimenting life in so many different jurisdictions on so many different metrics, because you get to learn what's most important to you and then double down on those things in the places that obviously provide those benefits or those metrics that are really important to you. Test, experiment many different places. That's why living a nomad life for a little bit is so valuable. I wouldn't recommend doing that forever, but for a short amount of time where you get to test and experiment many different places, it's a great way to learn who you are, what you value in the world, and what locations are best going to serve you in the long run. The second most important lesson I've learned from 4 years abroad is that location is a huge determinant on your future. The location where you live determines who you marry, which a lot of people say is the most important decision you'll ever make in life. It determines your business opportunities and the limits of your network, the industries that you network in, the climate in which you live, the healthy food or otherwise that you put in your body. Your location determines almost everything about your life. And although I work on the internet and talk about online business, there's only so much that you can do on the internet that helps circumnavigate those aspects of your hometown or the place that you choose to live. The chance that you're born in the exact same place, that you're going to be the happiest, the freest, the wealthiest, the healthiest that you can possibly be, is statistically close to zero. So I encourage people to test and experiment many different places. But when you're thinking about different places, you have to prioritize the place that will give you the best opportunities to marry the girl of your dreams, the best opportunities to build the business of your dreams, the best opportunities to be the healthiest you can possibly be. And location, because of that, is such a big determinant on your life. So do not settle. Do not settle for a place that makes you unhappy, that has shitty weather, that keeps you unhappy and unhealthy for a long period of time.
My whole life sucks. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going.
All right, the number one most important lesson that I have learned from 4 years of living in the third world, and this is going to ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to say it anyway. The land of the free, I don't think is the most free anymore. And let me explain before you cancel out this video and cancel me. I recognize certainly how lucky I am to have been born in the United States of America, to have had the opportunities that I have had in my life because of my citizenship in that country, because of being born in that country. But countries change, policies change, cultures change, demographics change. All of these things that we think are kind of permanent in society, they change over time. It might be slow, it might be gradual, but they change. And what I see in the United States is that the regulatory state has taken over everything. There is red tape and bureaucracy behind the curtain of anything that you want to do.
No! God, please, no! No!
Of your dreams, of your ambitions, there's always some level of bureaucracy or red tape or political leaders that will try to squash your dreams. Look at Elon Musk, look at Donald Trump, and maybe he'll try to change a lot of this regulatory state. I have high hopes for Doge and what Elon Musk is going to do. But up to this point, the regulatory state has won. And doing things in the United States, especially states like California and New York, has gotten really difficult. And there are other places in the world that have such low levels of organization in their government and bureaucracy so that you have an enhanced level of freedom. If you look at the rule books, if you look at the laws, you may not be as free in those countries on paper as you are in the United States. But this soft freedom that people don't talk about, the intangibles. And in many ways, I say, because of that soft freedom, that I'm freer in some of those places than I am in the United States. Of course, no place is perfect and no place is absolutely free. But when you think about it, the more you get off the grid, the more diversification you have, the more freedom you have in your life. And I don't think it's really a government that's going to give you that level of freedom. So sure, the United States might call itself the land of the free for forever, but do people outside of the United States feel as free as Americans do? I would argue that they do. and especially those who don't work in highly regulated industries, who don't interface with bureaucracy and government every day. So, food for thought, maybe think about it as you consider moving outside of your home country, maybe the United States. And I hope you consider these 4 lessons that I have learned after living outside of my home country for 4 years now. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys have any more questions about how to start an online business, how to grow that business, how to move abroad, where to go, where to reduce your cost of living and taxes, and how to become ultimately free, I'm all ears. Drop your comments down below. Hope you guys liked this video, and I will see you in the next installment of this 100-day video challenge. Peace out.